Hi everyone. This is a little video about the breath. Now, we all have times in our lives where breath comes a little bit more or less easily. So we're going to explore that a little bit, notice what's going on for us right now and see if we can't free up a little bit more space, a little bit more movement for the breath. So if you can do this in seated, then that's fantastic. But you could do it in standing if you wanted. So all we're going to do to start with is just place a hand on your chest and one on your belly. And just be as relaxed as you can and just breathe whatever feels normal to you. And yes, I know when we put our attention on our breath, we sort of start to do things, and that's okay too, just notice that. So as you breathe, notice if you can feel one or both of your hands moving. As you breathe in and out. Does one move more than the other? Is there any movement? And just notice whether the hand that's on your belly moves out as you breathe in, away from your body, and maybe it sinks back towards your spine as you breathe out. Don't worry if that's not happening. There's no judgment. We're just noticing exactly where we are at the moment. And then just inviting you to try a little something. So either hang your arms by your sides or rest them in your lap. And can you just sort of curl forwards as if you're sort of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you're sort of collapsing down. Your weight's tipping off the back of your sit bones, so you're leaning into the back of your pelvis, and everything comes forward, your rib cage, your shoulders, and your belly collapses. And can you also just tighten your belly, intentionally tighten those muscles in your belly, as if you were going to pick up something heavy, or maybe something's coming at you, and you want to tense up to be ready for it. So just tightening up your belly. And you can even press a little bit. Does it feel a little bit tighter? And now notice, where is your breath coming in now with your belly tight? Is it easier or harder to breathe? And then just slowly turn down the volume on that tightening in your belly and let yourself kind of unfurl back to your sitting position. So you're sitting kind of at rest, not putting too much effort in. And notice your breath now. Now that you've sat up a little bit, does it feel like it's coming a little bit more easily? So we're going to do that again in a moment, but what we're doing here is when we hold muscles tight in the front of our body, it can really affect how easy it is for us to breathe. So we're using the somatic movement process of pandiculation to try and release some of the muscle tension that we might hold in the front of our body. So what we're going to do, and do this along with me if you're comfortable to, is we're going to collapse down again and we're going to tighten the belly. You might notice that your rib cage kind of draws down a bit towards your pelvis. Feel that tightening and notice how it feels to have that tight in the front of your body. And that's step one of our pandiculation, that tightening of the muscles. And then can you take a couple of breath cycles just to breathe your way out of that contraction? And notice how the front of the body now is getting longer. And maybe as you come up, the breath comes a little bit more easily. Now you've opened up the front, no effort, no force. So that releases our step two. And then we just take a moment at rest to notice, to let everything go. Is there any holding in your body that you don't need in order to stay in this position? Let that go if you can. Don't worry if you can't. So let's do that again. We're going to pandiculate the muscles of the front. When you're ready, just let yourself gently come forward. Don't do anything that's uncomfortable. Only go as far as your capacity allows. So notice how the front is kind of closing up here. And then tighten your belly. So it goes kind of rigid. Again, noticing your breath and noticing any sensations in the front of your body. And then can you turn down the volume on that muscle contraction in the front? Step 2 is the conscious release of muscle tension. This is where our brain goes, oh, that's what you mean when you say you want to let go of the muscles. Notice how it feels to come back to that upright posture, not forcing. Take that moment at rest. Let your brain integrate that. Oh, this is how it feels to be in a position where I'm not putting lots of effort through those muscles. Great, I can take that on board. So feel free to do that a couple more times. Take it slow. Make sure you're noticing the sensations. And just knowing that we're re-educating our brain into what it means to let go of muscle contraction when we don't need it. When you go to pick up something heavy or you need to bend forward, sure, you want a shortening in the front, of course. We need to be able to do that. And when we're done, we want to be able to come back to rest and let everything go. And just notice, how is your breath coming now? Maybe it feels a little bit easier, a little bit more spacious. Maybe just have a little bit more awareness of what it means to breathe. So just noticing whatever you notice and give that a go a few times a day. Contract, release and rest those muscles of the front. They will thank you for it.